Funerals have been around for centuries, and as a result, has had to undergo changes to keep up with current times. Some changes include providing more resources, as well as additional methods to help those in grief.
As everybody loses something, their lives change. They have to begin new normals. They have to begin a new life differently without that person.
Leon Janice is co-owner of the longest-running funeral home in Windsor, known as Windsor Chapel. He is currently fifth generation in the business and continues to maintain its legacy of being a family-run funeral home.
With my family, that's basically all we know because of the way we were introduced to the business. We took ownership when my dad passed away in 2014. That's when me and my cousin took ownership for the funeral home. We never had a roadmap of saying, this is how we run a funeral home now, because not only are we funeral directors, we now had to learn how to run the business.
As well as working with hospice and other organizations, Windsor Chapel provides a service to the community known as the Heart and Soul Project.
I like to call it's Windsor Chapel's arm extended to the community. So through the Heart and Soul Project, we offer group grief support, one-on-one grief support, and also community education.
One thing the program started is the With You Every Step walking group, offering a way for people in grieving to talk with others, exercise, and enjoy the fresh air.
And that's grown over the last year. Right now, currently, there's about 10 or 11 that regularly come, and it's been exciting to see the growth of that. The Heart and Soul Project, in all that it entails, is really a gift to the community from Windsor Chapel. So we don't charge for any of our services, whether it's the grief support services, our seminars. It's all free of charge. And also it's for anyone in the community. Oftentimes we get asked the question, is this only for families that Windsor Chapel has served? We'll take phone calls a lot of times, and for somebody looking for grief support, for example, the funeral wasn't at your location, it was at a different funeral home. Can we still participate? And to which the answer is yes, it is open and free for anyone in the community.
Brian Parent is the owner of Families First. Being one of the newest funeral homes to come into the city in 1996, he decided that he was going to go beyond traditional funerals.
I was tricked into the funeral business. When I was just a young kid out of high school, I was told I would just be washing cars and cleaning up around a funeral home and doing gardening. And before I know it, I was required to help and assist with transfers. And I was fortunate enough to be with someone who was just really understanding and cooperative. And before I knew it, I learned to really enjoy what I was doing each and every day.
Parent has worked to make sure they continue their mission of celebrating life. They are able to achieve this even more with their own graphic design team on staff.
Specifically made for someone. That's a picture of the water at the lake by their cottage. Funeral service is changing dramatically and quickly, and it needs to do everything it can to support life. We need to honor and remember the person who died, but do so in a way that is fitting and appropriate for the family. We had a person who loved going to the movies, and there was a great big movie theme. There were rolls of film in the room. There were cardboard cutouts of current run videos or current run films that were playing, and we actually had fresh popcorn in the room. So, doing those kinds of things has people just smile on their face and gosh, that reminds me, I used to go with Ruth to see this and this, and she loved this film more than that film. It gets people talking about the person's life and maybe leave knowing them just a little bit better than when they came in.
In your specific needs that you're thinking of, or what type of wishes you were wanting?
According to Janice, the hardest part about being in a business like this is that the longer you're in it, the more chances are of dealing with people you know. In the last few years, not only has Janice had to bury his father, but most recently, his best friend, a doctor no less, who was his age.
We don't leave our place of business because it's always on our mind. When we leave here to go and be with our family, we kind of put that as a priority and do what we need to do with their needs. And I think as long as we keep evolving, we'll maintain the fact that we can still be part of any changes in the industry. We'll still be around to do that. We only can hope that down the road that this will be passed on to the next generation.